Hey everyone, Robert Yang, strength coach and nutritionist here with Peter Campbell, professional golfer, and we're getting towards the tail end of his lower body workout, and so I'm going to implement a Swiss ball hip extension knee flexion, or some people known as a Swiss ball leg curl. So I'm going to have Peter lie on his back. Although it's an exercise to work the whole posterior chain, the hamstring, the glutes, and the low back, the arm position is very, very important. So Peter's going to put his arms out in a T position with his palms up. And this is very, very important because, again, we're working the posterior chain, the lower half, but we're also working the core, but we're also working the upper quarter. So in this position here, as his body is holding the ball and not trying to fall off the ball, he's using a tremendous amount of stability in his back side of his shoulder girdle. So we want to make sure that he's in that extreme rotated position, versus if he's this way, then he's going to be overusing the pec minor or the pecs to stabilize and going into this more dysfunctional posture. So always make sure that someone's here in this extreme rotated position, whether they're here or whether they're close to their body. Now he's going to put his legs up on the ball. So you want to make sure, because this could put a lot of tension on the hamstrings. Some people can strain their hamstrings or get a cramp right away. So one way that I do warm up is simply just doing hip extension with the knees straight. So go ahead and do that. And this also gets them reminding to squeeze the glutes as they come up. Good. And then the second part of the warm up will be just doing the hip extension with knees flexed. So he's going to pull the ball in, hold the ball here, hips go all the way up. Good. And then down. And good. And this is really important because not only does it get the upper fibers of the hamstrings, but it teaches the ending position or the top position when he's in that peak contraction. So now we're going to put it all together. So from here, he's going to go hips up first and then curl all the way in. Now he's going to hold here, and you notice he's got one plane from his knee, hip, and the shoulder. So drop your hip. Okay, that's a poor repetition. You see this all the time, so do a few reps like that. Yeah, so people go back and forth, and they're missing a tremendous amount of load and tension up in the upper fibers of the hamstrings. Good, relax. So you want to make sure with this exercise that their hips are as high as possible, just that one plane from the knee, hip, and the shoulder. If they do feel their low back, and that's why I said not as high as possible, then they might need to lower the hips, because some people are so flexible that they hyperextend to their low back. So if you see them hyperextending and they say all I feel is my low back, then you need to drop the hips a little bit, and then it puts the tension back in the hamstring glutes. So again, make sure extra rotated in the shoulders and do those two warm-ups. And then from here, again, Peter's going to demonstrate hips up, squeeze, and then back out, controlled, and hips stay up high. So we're getting maximal tension all the way from the knee and all the way to the hip. And relax. So if you like that, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as share with anybody you think needs to learn this exercise correctly and get that tension on the hamstrings for more hypertrophy, but as well as better function of the hamstrings.